One. Okay, we had a little technical hiccup there, but now we're resuming, and hopefully Adam and
Emery
will be able to rejoin us. Yeah.
So I guess what we could do is just give a few minutes for them to join.
I mean, how many people were watching?
Wait, Miles is going to carry on.
I'm not sure.
I could just,
Can you reshare that graph? That's really an awesome image. Thank you.
Yeah, we could wait a minute or two. So
can I say something about this? Just
please do.
To me.
But yeah, so
yeah,
if we can, I'll just say where I left off is that mythic level is where people are all stuck in their individual churches and religions. So go ahead, Melissa, please.
Well, it's really interesting not having the background you have to this, because I read this really differently. In that all that came before is still within us, right? And so just as every fetus and child and youth and adult and elder go through these stages that are basically all the stages that humanity have been through from the beginning of time. That's what Steiner talks about. So in the Waldorf schools,
yeah, and I think you're right on too. I'm just so new to this, so I'm always going to be learning. And I think indeed we can all relate to the child within. When we were archaic, we were the fetus floating in our mother's womb, in a state of bliss. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and that's wherein we have to appreciate and not be critical of people, but try to help them. That's almost a bit what's the word, presumptuous to think that we're. But I think with like Professor Leroy Littleberry, he has a little saying that he says, so where as you get older, you've gotten higher up the mountain and you can see further. So there's some wisdom just from being an elder.
Mm-hmm, totally. Well, and Steiner again talks same thing. He says that if you manage to get to 80, 90, you've gone through all these stages that you're talking about, Miles.
Okay.
More integrated, there you go. And and then do these read horizontally as well? Is that like belongingness, mythic, absolutistic, truth?
Yeah, I think if you go over to the left, you see we're integral, and Ken Wilber, I think, I believe it's his concept to put the colors, the prismatic colors, to show how there's a relationship between, if we go right down to the infrared, physiological, archaic survival, the survival value. We have a value just to live, an instinctive survival value, right? So those are all what we'd call the infrared level. So they do read right across. And yeah, this is where I think, again, if we start to chop up the 24-hour block party into topics and particular websites and work that people are doing, and an invitation is sent out, an advance notice, heads up, we're going to be talking about you. Yeah, come and join us.
That's a really great idea.
Yep.
What is coral at the far right in the dark indigo? Graves values. Does that say coral?
Upper right. Yeah.
Coral.
Global view. It says flex flow. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. See that Graves? So Graves was a person who really did a lot of work on this. And so, you know, each one of these you could probably spend 24-hour block party on, I'm sure, you know.
Right. Yeah,
So,
we could bring Gaio into this conversation because he's
yeah.
spent a
Oh,
little
yeah.
time exploring this. Well,
Oh, and then there's the concept, if you look on the far right, Ken Wilber's often talking about first tier, second tier, third tier. That's another, I believe, Ken Wilber concept.
Mm.
And then Ken Wilber also, and let me see if I can share something else.
Yeah, Ken Wilber.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't read it. So.
No, I haven't read it.
Okay.
Watch
So,
yeah, I've brought him up to Jamin because I think he has small enough following that he's easily accessible.
Oh, nice. And also Gaio may know. Pardon? Oh my goodness! Well, this is fast becoming the coolest place to hang out on the internet. You know.
so yeah, this is really cool, and this is where this is where I'm so happy you've got the block party going. I know, you know, you guys are just putting it out there with so much effort to be up for 24 hours. You know, I just have to bow to you for this effort.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as Woody Allen said, 90% of success is showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
That's the
And
main.
as I said, you know, and you know that I'm just very risk averse, and I'm trying to do things in a different culture way, and that's why although I dropped away from the Vegan 2026, I very much appreciate the learning, because you know it's all about how do we do what's right for us as individuals. That's part of this individuation journey. And my realization was when it was presented that, you know, on the base camp, they're working through the Vegan World 2026 vision, mission, aims, and culture.
Yeah.
It was really an aha moment, or emphasizing what I knew inside, but hadn't really had the epiphany yet. And that is that I have to, the culture that I'm obligated to consult is my First Nations neighbors and friends of Treaty 7. And, you know, as I'm working on this, I will bring it back into the block party, right? I will, I'm referring to the Vegan World 2026.
Well, I have a suggestion for you. And I spent today, while listening to everyone's talking on Block Party, going through the questions for the mission, aims, vision of vegan VCI. And I can't approach those questions as a vegan who's been an ethical vegan for 35 years, right? Because I haven't been a vegan for 35 years. And I had to approach them from my own life's experience. And as an artist who is very connected to, you know, what I'm connected to, Mother Earth, First Nations, you know, your culture, all these things that make up my experience on the planet. But what I find is interesting about that is that if we come as ourselves to a group and bring that to the questions, then I think it it allows those answers to be more expanded rather than just from one perspective. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we're going to say, yeah, let's all go kill cows and eat them. You know, I'm not talking about that. But so I think that if you were involved in the conversations with the vegans, it just gives it broadens the perspective, because you can bring the wisdom and the knowledge that you've gleaned from your life experiences and what you're going through now to the group, especially because First Nations are so connected to taking care of Mother Earth. And that's what we need
yeah.
to source, to nature.
And one of the things I'd like to make everybody aware of, we just were looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
And he actually visited, I believe his name is Abraham Maslow. There's evidence that he actually got his hierarchy of needs concept from the Niitsitapi people, who we know as the Blackfoot or the Blackfeet people. And these are people that go right across the so-called medicine line that divides Canada from the US. So they're a nation that we divided with our border, our artificial line in the sand or prairie. Anyway, so Maslow went and met with the Niitsitapi people and basically got the hierarchy of needs concept from them. Wow. This concept of starting from your physiological needs, eventually, once you get all those needs met, you rise up to a stage of self-actualization. The problem is, he took it, but he got it wrong. He got it wrong because with the Blackfeet people, you are self-actualizing from the get-go. Mm-hmm. Self-actualization is at the bottom, at the start. Mm. And it's because they have a totally different worldview. It's not a worldview, as Jamin says, of hoarding. It's a worldview of sharing.
Yeah.
You see, and so that's what you were saying, like we have so much to learn from them. And indeed, you know, there's a huge example. They don't even have from what I understand, I heard a person, and unless I'm misinterpreting this lady when she was on the radio, she said, well, they don't even have a word for please or even thank you, because it's not a necessary word, because they just share.
Yeah, they do. That's right. That's really right. Well, we talk about DNA and DNA memory and how these things over millennia, you know, they it gets imprinted on us. And when I was with First Nations for all those years, you could I really witnessed that. You know, it's in their children from birth what they're practicing, and the children accompany them in all their events, all their what they call doings, all their ceremonies and gatherings, and you know, so they're teaching them from the time they're in the womb all the way till they get to the tomb. You know, there's an inclusivity, and things are being passed on using the oral tradition, stories, songs, dances. And so you are part of the whole. You're not a fragmented individual lost in outer space. You know, you're part of this whole community that's part of the whole of the planet, that's part of the whole of the universe. So there isn't separation that way.
Yeah, it's really staggering. I get quite emotional.
It's a very beautiful way to live.
So yeah, this is one more thing I'll say about Ken Wilber. He's got the concept of quadrants. And so he realized when he talks about this, and he spread out, when he was studying this at the beginning, he spread out all these pieces of paper that he had collected all the different intelligences on, and had put out for each intelligence the stage of development. And then he realized that you could group them into one of 4 quadrants. Sometimes I guess some lie on the line. But so there's an individual, and there's collective, and there's interior and exterior. Those are your 4 quadrants. So individual, interior, individual, exterior, collective, interior, and collective, exterior. And you'll see that there's the different intelligences land in there. And anyway, somebody posted they wanted to see the video. So I've been talking quite a bit. I'll stop the share.
Before we get off that, though, that was really interesting, Miles. Thank you so much for sharing that. My Haida friends say I is for illness, and we is for, no, I is for ego, and we is for wellness. So when I look at the quadrants, if we were approaching it from a holistic or a native perspective, I would say that the we is the, which is the collective, is also their individual relationship to the world. It's not about I, it's about we, always, the we wellness. So kind of the we encompasses everything, the interior, the exterior, the self, and the collective. So instead of fragmenting everything.
Yeah, that's a great idea, or great view, because we are soil. Humans comes from the word humus, or humus, which is another word for rich soil.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I like your idea that we need to remember we're all connected, and it's just we're sharing this eternal moment right now, this eternal moment, this now moment. But we're all amazing because we have to remember how many times 2 organisms had to get together to reproduce. Going back a billion, or I don't know how many billions of years, for us to be here right now.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
And who knows how many times we've been here before as well,
Also, even before sexual reproduction happened, there was replication. It was, but it was sort of like a cloning process.
Well, and that's hello, Mr. Marshall. Les.
Yes.
Yeah, I know this sounds crazy, but I sometimes say, I don't know why do I have nipples? I'm never going to be nurturing a child on my breast, but nevertheless, at some point in time we were, what's the word? A cell that doesn't need another cell to reproduce.
Hermaphrodite. Like
Hermaphrodite?
Hermaphrodite.
Okay,
That's Earth
hermaphrodites.
hermaphrodites.
So yeah, we were.
Well, apparently the Druidic cultures, James, I don't know if you've heard that, like the word in these ancient cultures could have the power to create and the power to destroy just with the word. And we've really lost that. And again, going back to Rudolf Steiner, he talks about how the polarities are going to cease to be as opposite as they are now, and things are, just in terms of gender, things are going to be blended much more, which is what we're talking about. So you can already see this blending starting to happen in gender, with gender, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just riveted now listening to everybody who's just chatting away there for a while, because tiredness is catching up with me myself now as well at the moment. But no, I'm just absorbing. You know what I mean? What you're all talking about. When I took my trip over, I spent some time. I actually timed it so that I'd arrive in Lewiston, so that I could go up to Camilla for the Nez Perce powwow so I arrived at the end of July and made my way up there for the 5th of August for that powwow in 2010, I think it was, or 2010, yeah. I've always, I don't know, I just always had an affinity with Native Americans, peoples and cultures anyway, like, so I was part of one of my reasons for going on the trip as well, like, so. I also, as you were saying about not having, as you were saying yourself, Les, about them not having any word for, I'm not sure what you said was sorry and that later, but they
Yeah,
also
please and thank you. Apparently,
please and thank you. They didn't
no
have
need
any,
for it.
Exactly, they had no need for it. They had no need for poorhouses and churches, I suppose, in the sense. But
That's right.
And one of the most important things that I admire about their culture as well is that they didn't shoo children to the one side. They always encouraged the children, no matter what age, always sat by the parents, and most importantly, sat by the grandparents,
Right.
so that they learned the most important messages.
Yeah.
Because if you want to know the road ahead, you have to ask those coming back. So you know what I mean. So I have an affinity with Native Americans as well. So yeah, that was definitely one of my reasons for the trip. Sorry, just riveted there.
Oh, that's great. Glad to hear that, James.
Cheers.
Yeah, nothing to be sorry about.
Yeah. I carved canoes for 14 years with the Haida people.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I've studied a little bit. Well, I looked up. It's correct. Forgive me now if his name won't come to me now straight away. But is it Bill Reed? He was a Haida carver, wood up totem poles and that. Yeah.
Bill Reed.
So I admired a lot of his work because I like wood carving myself as well. So I was kind of incorporating some of his work as well with some of their beliefs and cultural beliefs as well while I was doing my study for my thesis at the time.
Yeah.
So
I think he's from British Columbia, isn't he, Miles?
British Columbia, yeah, definitely. I think he's more for the islands and that, like, yeah.
Yeah. And he came to that gift later on in life. I think he was a radio broadcaster for a long time, and found
he returned to it.
Gift in art and storytelling, like in his 40s or something. Because a lot of the carvers, of course, start young and apprentice with, other carvers.
Yeah. You can only learn it from hands-on experience with the masters. So, yeah, that was precious education. Like so, yeah.
And Ed, welcome. Or welcome back. We're on the home stretch here, closing in on the 24-hour mark.
Yeah, well done, you guys.
Yeah.
We're still standing.
You made it. Yay. Real.
Well, we made it with a lot of help from our friends. All of you who are on.
Yeah.
There's just such a rich community.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Such a rich community.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Mm.
Yep.
So, James, you'll have to get more of your family on or friends, you know, in Ireland.
Yeah, I would love to. But I think for the moment, I'm only trying to get them on board with the actual facts to absorb them themselves, and I don't think that they'd be even capable of having a full-on conversation, such as I wouldn't have been either. It took me a while to build up to get to this stage as well.
Right.
And then not just talking about days or weeks. So,
yeah.
you know, yeah.
We did have some younger people on earlier, and that was really awesome. A 7-year-old and a 15-year-old.
17-year-old.
Oh, 17.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching.
All right.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Silently watching, and I commented a few times. All right. So
Sorry.
I finally plucked up the nerve to join you anyway. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, it was great.
I'll be back next Friday anyway.
Awesome.
Well, this was, I
Wondering,
was just going to say, this was the first place I ever encountered anybody talking about the issue.
Hmm.
That's what drew me in, because nobody, I think I almost go back 3 years. It wasn't on anybody's radar other than Social Club at the End of the World, as far as I knew.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were like, oh, we're the only people in the world talking about this at that time.
How did you find Jamin, Miles? I never asked you that.
I have, that's a good question.
Through Guy McPherson?
Oh, yeah, that would have been it. Somehow.
You probably saw a Sierra Club dinner presentation or something like that.
Probably.
Or maybe the Guy Fawkes and Jamin show.
Could be. Yeah, something popped up, on the YouTube.
And James,
that
how did
I
you
clicked
find
on.
Jamin? Actually, I'll ask both of you that question.
James, we've already asked James a gazillion.
Oh, okay.
I remember I shared with you. It was through the guy. It was through the Guy McPherson.
Oh, Guy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
same here.
It was a combination of both, but it was fortuitous to say the least. Anyway, that's the main thing.
We get that one. Awesome.
Just to
But I
chime in,
think we're still pushing the boundaries here, which is fantastic because of Jamin and company. We're still pushing the boundaries. Again, now with this block party.
Yeah, totally.
It's a frontier that, is quite possible somebody else is doing something similar, but because it's such a huge world, but it's definitely unique in that if we just come together with this 24-hour block party, everybody starts to connect. As Melissa was saying, that was the gentleman's article that you read, we come together as one soul.
Rudolf Steiner.
Rudolf Steiner.
I think Ed wanted to say something.
Oh yeah, Ed, sorry, you wanted to say something. Thanks for
I just was going to answer your question about how I got here. There's a woman called Grace Rachmani in Slovenia, who's Israeli, who knows a friend of mine who lives in Barcelona, Spain. And through some circuitous route, we connected. And Grace is very involved in blockchain-related activities and has written a book about leadership in new organizations that are enabled by blockchain and what the characteristics of that type of leadership are. and very knowledgeable, and is very much involved in thinking about how to change democracy and use the blockchain to implement new forms. So she's the one that sent me an email with this link.
Wow.
And I'm still trying to figure out what you guys are doing, but I know I need to be here on occasion.
Awesome. That's right. You've come to the right place.
I'm
And you know
looking-
that we meet every Friday for 24 hours from 6 a.m. There you go, Les. From 6 a.m. Friday morning till 6 a.m. Saturday morning Pacific time.
Good. You're all vegans.
Oh, look.
Oh no, I meant Vulcan.
Well, I'm a vegan.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
well, awesome.
we're going vegan.
Well, every Friday for 24 hours. So it's
Well, I will
I'm
return.
fasting.
Awesome.
Sorry, Les?
He said he'll return.
I'm fasting.
Fasting.
I'm fasting until break fast.
Oh, okay, very good.
Until break fast.
Cool. All right, you guys, I'm going back to bed. I'll see you next time. Lovely to meet
Yeah.
you, James, Les,
You too.
Miles.
You
Great.
too.
See you next time.
Sure.
All right. Love you,
Thanks,
honey.
sweetheart.
Thank you.
Good
I
night.
was wondering. When the YouTube will be available
For these videos?
to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a chance they might be available end of day Sunday, but for sure end of day Monday, just given that we sort of need to kind of
Okay.
rest up a little bit.
And the
Yeah.
full live stream
Sure.
should be available probably at some point within the next 30 minutes, I would guess.
Now, does that include this right now, or did it get
It does not include
okay.
the past like half an hour.
or maybe hour? No,
Doesn't
that's right. No,
record.
half an hour. No, you're right.
Something like
Like,
that.
yeah, half hour, 35 minutes. Yeah, because we got
Okay. That's cool. I'm interested to see more of it. I missed a lot.
Oh my goodness, Jorge!
Wow.
Jorge is here. Mexico is in the house. Oh my goodness. We've got Mexico, Ireland, Canada. We got all of NAFTA.
Is that Jorge?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jorge's here.
Hi, Jorge.
California.
Awesome. You're on mute.
You're muted, Jorge. You're muted.
Okay,
Good to
nice
see
to see you all. The
Yeah.
last 4 minutes of the
Yeah.
second 24 hours block party. You made it.
Yeah. Woo, woo, woo.
Amazing, amazing.
Blessings.
Hey, Marshall. Hey, Miles.
Hi.
James and Dot.
Hey,
Hello.
good to see you, Jorge.
Likewise, likewise. How long has everybody hanged out?
Well, listen to this. James in Ireland has been here for he's been watching and participating for most of the 24 hours from Ireland.
Wow. Remarkable.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. What time is in Ireland? Like it's daytime, no? Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
when this started, I was already up for most of the day anyway, like
Oh wow. What
Well,
a
you know.
stamina.
most of the morning anyway.
And what
Yeah,
about
no,
Dot?
I
Is
get it.
Dot the new Bob or is Dot interactive?
I'm
Dot?
sorry I missed that. I missed
Last time there was Bob. I interact all the time. Excellent. The Dot para todo. Excellent, Dot. Can I ask you a quick question, Jane?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. This was a suggestion of Melissa.
Yeah.
To ask you directly, what is collective intelligence the same as or different from collective superintelligence?
Yeah. Okay, very good, very good. So collective superintelligence is what we're pioneering here, and what you watched about on the 30-minute video and all that. It is just the maximum medium for connection interconnectivity, max out on data. It's video, it's audio, it's text, it's search, it's Wikipedia, it's Reddit, it's synchronous, it's asynchronous, because we talk offline on Basecamp and on Reddit and all that. I mean, it's just maxed out. Okay, collective intelligence. Collective intelligence is this broad set that includes, Wikipedia is a form of collective intelligence, and it's brilliant. Google is a form of collective intelligence, and it's brilliant. Basecamp is a form of collective intelligence, and it's brilliant. Sociocracy is a form of collective intelligence, and it's brilliant, right? Collective superintelligence puts it all together, and it'll probably include sociocracy and spiritual stuff, and this, and this, and this, and this, just and. I mean, if you can articulate it, it belongs in there, right? If Miles started communicating with his frog in Canada, in Canadian, that would go in there, right? You've heard of the movie, The Man Who Stares at Goats? Well, Miles sometimes stares at this frog. So, I mean, like, that's all included. It's just any kind of intelligence, right? That involves more than one person or creature. Like, I do collective intelligence with the crows. I feed the crows in the backyard. I think James might have mentioned you feed the birds. Yeah, I love the crows, and they have this incredible collective intelligence. Crows are super collectively intelligent.
Oh, they're really good.
Yeah. So anyway,
Thank you, Jamin. Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
So what's
All
the
right.
time?
It's 6 a.m. Should we do it?
You made it.
Countdown? Should we do the 10 to 1 countdown?
All right.
10,
10, 9,
9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Macarena time. Macarena time.
Congratulations.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Excellent.
everything, lads.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you, and hope to interact soon.
Our brothers
Again.
and sisters, thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Definitely.
And a huge thanks to Dr.
I would
Silas
love. I'd
Rao.
love to.
And a huge thanks to Dr. Silas Rao.
I would love to.
Yeah, Les, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
I would love to interact with people more, even before next Friday.
Please plan on spending the whole 24 hours with us. It's like a big weekend retreat, all compressed in 24 hours.
I mean, like, if people could put their links of, like, maybe on YouTube or something, where they could be found, like what YouTubes or wherever they go to communicate.
And
Excellent.
Les, if you want to type in the chat your email address, then we can put you on the email list as well, and get you those links.
I'm just learning how to use this thing. I'll leave a message.
Yeah, you just type into where it says chat down below.
I put my Twitter up there. That's a great way to interact with
Miles,
me.
that's inappropriate. Don't do-
What?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah, it was great. Great 24-hour block party, and they just keep getting better.
Oh my goodness. And this is just the second one. This is taking off exponentially. It's so clear. So clear.
And then and it works if somebody's interested and they want to carve out a chunk of time, whatever they want, they just contact you to say, I'd like to host or lead on a topic or a website or.
Exactly. And since we're broadcasting and recording, I'll say you can just go to radish.org and you can click on the button that says apply for membership. You'll automatically be accepted as long as you're not a bot or something crazy like that. And then right there in the application say, hey, I would love to present on this or that. Feel free to do that as well. And then once we're in email, we'll just go back and forth via email. Real simple.
Very cool. Nice to see Nolan hanging out there. all
He's
night,
ready.
all night long.
Oh yeah.
And
Excellent.
speaking of that, Jorge, anytime you want to do a segment on edible living forests,
That
Book
would
me
be
for
interesting.
book me for next Friday, okay?
next Friday.
I will email you. It's Community Food Forest, but the program it's called Worldwide Community Food Forest Network. I will send it to you.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah,
And
and just let me know what time windows would work best, and we'll work it out.
yes, thank you so much, Jamin. And
Thank you.
goodbye to everybody. Have a good rest. Char chop.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care,
Take care,
guys.
Jorge.
Thank you, Jorge. See you soon.
See you soon.
Something Nolan pointed out is that this occurs on the Fridays for Futures
Yeah.
school strikes, and so today this block party, I was thinking about gathering my stuff together and heading down to City Hall to do an on location 24-hour block party spot.
Wow.
But I didn't get my act together. But maybe next Friday, and just putting it out there to everybody around the world, the Friday Strike for Future is around the clock on Fridays, right? So wherever you are in the world, you could go down and possibly do a live broadcast on the 24-hour block party. And then share it out with the young people there and everybody else who's out there, and get more coming into the block party.
Exactly. Beautiful. Thank you, Miles. What a great invitation. Love it. Humanity. This is where everyone is welcome to come together, come as you are, and we are going to do everything we possibly can to cool our planet in time. There's no guarantee of success or whatever, but my goodness, if we're going to go down, what a way to go down. And if we're able to turn the ship around, what a way to turn the ship around and prevent going down. That's the most exciting scenario of all. And I think we can totally do it.
Yeah.
Alive,
And,
yeah.
if people will go and buy a very inexpensive emergency reflective blanket, they could go to the block party and carry on the solar radiation management initiative with a very inexpensive reflector.
Yeah.
And we carry on with the what is this called? Hashtag vegan reflection, is it?
Yeah, vegan reflection. And veganreflection.org is the website, though I think we need to reactualize it. So it's probably down right now, but it will be veganreflection.org.
But the idea is to get SRM and Climate Healers white paper out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we can you can get one of these reflective emergency first aid blankets. It's just thin, what do you call it? Thin film, reflective material.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can get those blankets in a lot of places, like REI, or probably certainly on Amazon. I'm sure you can get them. Yeah.
It's a good bug out bags item.
Oh my goodness.
Hang in there, Jamin. You're nearly there, boy.
No, we're there. We're there. It's 6:09. All right.
You're going over. You're going overtime.
Yeah, we're going overtime. Time and a half. Hey, so should we stop recording? Or is there more? If there's more to say, carry on.
Oh no, I don't want to keep dragging it on it, with anything other than to say like
Dot,
that.
Dot says let's watch the video first. Nolan, do you want to orchestrate? You want to orchestrate that,
Sure.
please? Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Make sure you guys get vitamin C. It helps to fight antioxidants when you pull all-nighter.
Vitamin C.
Yeah, well, especially organic vitamin C, like from oranges, tomatoes, and red peppers, and all kinds of stuff.
All right. Good to know.
Yep. The double Nobel Prize winner Linus Pauling was a big advocate of it. The medical industry doesn't want people to know how to fight disease. They want you to depend on their concoctions.
Totally.
Also, astaxanthin, I think, it's the most powerful antioxidant known to science, and it's what causes the salmon to have red flesh. It's grown in microalgae produce it.
Only about 5 minutes.
All right. Well, I'm going to play Science Stories Marine Permaculture. And let me know if you can hear it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Around the world, our changing climate has disrupted natural ocean upwelling, a process in which offshore wind blows warm water across the ocean surface, bringing up cool, nutrient-rich waters from below. This process naturally allows the surface waters to be fertilised, allowing plant and animal life to thrive. Without upwelling, kelp forests suffer and die, and with that, so does life on land and in the sea. Marine permaculture can restore this natural ocean upwelling using wave energy. By deploying satellite-controlled marine permaculture arrays, or MPAs, offshore and far from land, we can restore entire marine ecosystems. These arrays span over 256 acres. That's about 194 football fields put together. Made with strong recycled material, the entire rig hangs from a surface buoy. A steel cable connects the buoy to the pumping system located at the base of the array. As the buoy falls from the crest of a wave, the intact valve at the base descends, opening a flap that allows deep ocean water to flood into an irrigation tube. When the next wave lifts the buoy, the valve closes, trapping deep water in the tube, lifting it to the surface. Each time a wave lifts the buoy, the process repeats. With the power created with the rise and the fall of the waves, the irrigation tube pumps the nutrient-rich waters from hundreds of feet below sea level. At the end of the pump, a lightweight, latticed irrigation system made with interconnecting tubing sits 84 feet below sea level. Nutrient-rich water is released through the holes placed along the tubing, which essentially fertilises the kelp, encouraging a mini ecosystem to grow. Where there was once an aquatic desert, this area now thrives with life. Harvested kelp can be used for food, fertiliser, biofuels and even bioplastic. Additionally, each dry tonne of kelp sequesters 1 tonne of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas that contributes to the warming of our planet. MPAs may eventually serve as the ultimate fish farms, supporting wild and genetically diverse natural populations that are self-sustaining. With the implementation of MPAs, we can be agents of ocean restoration. To learn more, visit climatefoundation.org. Together, we can be the change we wish to see.
Now they can.
Really good, Dot. Thank you. Now, Miles, was that a Canadian accent that girl was? Just kidding. Anyway, no, that was super good, Dot. Wow, super cool. And Dot, where did you find out about that? But don't let me bug you if you're not able to talk or whatever. But anyway, wow. Thank you. There's so many great solutions out there, but no one mind, no one committee can keep track of them all, or all of the intended and unintended consequences of a given solution, right? Or the overlaps, the interplays, et cetera, right? Only collective superintelligence can not only grasp it all, but master it all and see it all the way through to implementation and bust through any barrier. Right?
Yeah, it's the only way to go, as I said earlier. It's the only way to go. You know what I mean? Collective intelligence,
Totally.
all the way.
Totally.
I mean, just what was shared alone here in the 24 hours now, like, and the vast number of subjects spoken of, again, like, as I said, like, you can already see things gelling and coming together, like, so, you know, it's already, you know, well, I wouldn't say already, it was doing its work from the first time it was conceived, so it's now continuing on that journey, I should say, like, so fair dues, Jimmy.
Thank you. And this is all thanks to years of pioneering work, which Miles and I and Dan Bader, Fred
I understand that.
Oh yeah. No. I just want to acknowledge that, you know, this is an evolution, right?
Yeah.
And so good stuff. Yeah. But wow, really in rapid evolution now and expansion. I mean, Miles, think back to the old days when we do social club, and that was 3 hours per week. Right out of the gate, we're now 3 times 8 is 24, 8 times just the block party, but then we're still doing solution club and we're doing vegan. So that's another 6. So we're at 32 hours per week. That's almost a full-time job, you know? And the mind and body, everything needs some rest afterwards, because, you know, you're just like, you're like this for 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys better get some rest. We better let you go. So,
Anyways,
fantastic.
It's important to get your rest.
Just before you go, guys, I'd like to introduce you to my daughter. This is Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie.
Good to meet you, Stephanie. We've been having a wonderful conversation with your father.
We're sharing the one piece of technology.
Good to meet you, Stephanie. And we've been having a wonderful conversation with your father for a number of hours. It's just been absolutely incredible. So you are blessed to have dear James as your dad. Looks like you're both blessed to have each other, as we are all blessed to have all of us, each other. One beautiful human family.
Can you hear you?
And that's what it's all about.
That's right.
That's it, Stephanie.
What is your area of interest, Stephanie? What are you interested in studying or pursuing?
In working or in
this
this
whatever. Your areas of interest.
I work in TV and film and events. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of jack of all trades.
Is that for a local Cork-based business or channel?
I work all over Ireland I work for American TV as well as Canadian TV and whoever comes to Ireland, really.
Oh, that is so cool. So we might have seen you, or are you behind the scenes, behind the camera?
Yeah, behind the camera mainly. I've done a few little bits and pieces, but if you blink, you might miss me. So I won't go leaning.
Wow, that is a cool job. Or
She's had a
career.
few parts. She's had a few parts, including a doubling part for the main character in
Into the Badlands.
Into the Badlands. Sorry, I keep trying to keep up with the names. Yeah, so she's done some work on Game of Thrones and a few others as well, and she's waiting. She'll be in this new one coming out with Mel Gibson shortly. So yeah,
Wow.
just little parts, but she prefers to be behind the cameras and the
Wait.
directing side of it. Like,
You didn't tell us we were going to have a celebrity in our midst. I would have cleaned up. I would have shaved.
Myself, I'm still in pajamas, so don't worry.
Yeah, we're going to want to get a list of these shows that you've been involved in, so we can see if we can
Oh, yeah.
stop it. I always
I might
do
give
you
my
know,
dad a list.
do you know the movie Roxanne that starred Steve Martin? It's an old movie from the 80s. Roxanne.
Yes.
Very cute story. So I lived in a little town called Nelson, British Columbia when that was filmed. And I claim that as my motion picture debut. Because there was actually a scene that they were filming on the main street. And I always enjoyed while they were shooting the movie, I enjoyed getting on my bicycle and finding out, going looking for where they're shooting scenes. And so one day they were right downtown on Main Street filming the scene that the barn burns down. The cow kicks over the lantern and the barn catches fire. And so I was with a bunch of other people who are just observing, but I sort of moved myself forward slowly, and I was so far forward they thought I was an extra. And so I did 3 takes. And I always say, if you stop the video at the right spot and you look through the smoke, you can see me.
That's usually the way it's yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. That's cool.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if you're familiar with the film that won a lot of awards, international awards, The Young Offenders. It was out there a year or so ago, is it?
It's an Irish.
It's an Irish-based film, but it won a lot of awards, so it kind of got onto the mainstream. But I'd advise you to have a look at it. Maybe it's called The Young Offenders, and it basically tells a story about 2 young teenage boys growing up in Cork City here. Stephanie's actually been working on the sequel to it that only of late. Well, parts of it anyway, like it's behind the scenes and that. Like, so.
And so,
yeah.
would we see Stephanie Desmond in the credits?
Sometimes, because I do assistant directing, and sometimes there could be 30, 40 of us, and they pick like a few of each unit for some reason.
Okay.
So, but you can, if you Googled my name, a few credits might come up for me there, and as well as extra and doubling and stuff. So, although I'm sure there's another Stephanie Desmond in Ireland, which gets pretty confusing, but
yeah,
I am there.
So, yeah,
well, as I said, my wife is half Irish, and she has lots of really great relatives over there. And so Young Offenders, I'm going to pull that up. We'll watch that today if I can track it down.
Yeah. It's a very, as I said about the Irish, we're very humorous, and we find a bit of wit in everything and every sort of situation. So it's a very unique look at the type of life here in Cork City and how the young people, they get on in with life here as well, and how they learn life's lessons, and
but in a comedic way.
It's very lighthearted. Yeah, it's comedy, like, you know what I mean. So I think you'd enjoy it.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Well, all of us, are the young offenders of the empire of global capitalism and of the tyranny of inertia down a death spiral. We are the young offenders to the preceding and we are taking control in a very benevolent way of spaceship Mother Earth and steering her to much cooler airs and much healing and radical transformation, deep radical transformation, to be a world of love, compassion, total benevolence, transparency, intelligence, collective superintelligence, and all the wonderful things we've been working on. Including that stuff that grows seaweed. What's that? The permaculture, floating permaculture underneath, marine permaculture underneath floating mirrors, courtesy of Dot. Thank you, Dot. And so many other awesome.
Do you just want to quickly, I guess, before we wrap up, do you want to just run through off the top of your head the countries that have been involved in this these block parties? It'd be kind of interesting.
Sure. So England, Ireland, India, New Zealand, Japan, Mexico, United States, Canada,
That's a great list.
Israel, we're at 9.
Israel.
Can we go 10?
It's probably in there somewhere.
Did she dial in from France, or was she in Florida? Okay.
She'll dial in from France.
Okay. Well,
here's a fun idea. Get yourself a world map and those little colored pins. And as we go along, you can put pins in.
That's a great idea.
Pins where people are.
And we can even do a software version of that, and then have that as a graphic.
Yeah.
Love it, Miles. Great idea. All righty. Well, let me make one last plug, and then we can stop recording. You, whoever you are, wherever you are around the world, can be here with us at the next block party, and the next one after that, and the next one after that, and the next one after that, and the next one after that. We have a collective intelligence block party every Friday, rain or shine. I don't care what day of the year it is. I don't care, I care, but regardless of all that, every Friday for a full 24 hours, starting at 6 a.m. Pacific time, Friday morning, and ending 6 a.m. Pacific time, Saturday morning. Now, if you happen to be in Ireland, that starts at 2 p.m. Friday afternoon,
2 p.m.
Ireland time, and goes until 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon, Ireland time. And other time zones around the world. It goes for a full 24 hours. That way, for every point around the world, wherever you are, it's a full sweep of the clock, all 24 hours. So no country is any better or worse off in terms of timing, right? It's not like a meeting in New York, and in India, it's the middle of the night, so they can't really participate. No. And it goes for the full 24.
Plus, sometimes extra.
Sometimes extra, like today. And we invite, and the way to join, the way to enter is to go to radish.org, click on Collective Intelligence Block Party, and therein you will find the link to join that week's Collective Intelligence Block Party.
Whoop, 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 yay!
Woo!
Way to go, Jamin and Nolan and company.
Thanks so much, Miles, everyone. Thank you. And special thanks to James and Elizabeth in Ireland, in Cork. Oh, Stephanie. Oh, goodness, I'm so sorry. Stephanie.
It's
James,
okay.
Stephanie, thank you. Nolan, Jamin, Les, Dot, Miles, and everyone who's participated today. Too many to count. I'm happy to report. Wonderful. All right. Until next time, we'll see you on the next block party and at other online meetings in between. Love to all. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.